to Yahweh. So what happened? They had left Mitzrayim, and Pharaoh was what? Chasing them down. He was following the children of Israel. And they said to Moshe, "Hey, Bubba, Moshe Rabbeinu, you're not my Rabbeinu. You're a why did you take us out of Mitzrayim? You would have just left us in Mitzrayim, and we would have died in Mitzrayim. We would have been better off." It is because there were no graves in Mitzrayim. You have now taken us away to die in the wilderness. Why have you dealt with us in this manner to carry us out of Mitzrayim? We would have been better off in Mitzrayim. At least there were graves. Here, there's just water. We're going to drown. Is not this the word that we told you in Mitzrayim, Moshe? Saying, leave us alone. We want to stay where we are now. And there we will serve the Mitzrayim. For it had been better for us to serve the Mitzrayim there than we should come out here and die in the wilderness. And Moshe said, Shtuyot. Stop being silly. Stop talking stupid. The Hebrew word for stupidity is Shtuyot. Moshe said to the people, Al Tirah, verse 13. Fear not. Stand still. And see the Yahshua of Yahweh. For which he will show you today. For the Mitzrayim who you have seen today, hallelujah, you will see them again no more. Hallelujah. Now who were these complainers who wanted to go back to Mitzrayim to nice comfortable graves? They were Datan and Abiram, the same clowns who reported Moshe to Pharaoh so that he had to flee for his life, the same ones who criticized Moshe after the Exodus. They were the same ones who would pop up again in today's Torah Parsha. These guys never go away. Abiram, Datan, and Aviram. They keep popping up. Wilbur, I said they keep popping up. It's the same folks. But we're not done. If we go on to the book of Shemot, Exodus, chapter 16, we read about some, we won't go there now, we read about some who tried to keep manna an extra day.
Yes.
Okay, on Shabbat. And on other days, they said, hey, Shabbat's coming, so what are we going to do on Shabbat on Friday? We're going to lay up what? We're going to lay up manna for an extra day. Okay? And Yahweh gave enough on the 6th day to last the 7th day. Sorry. But the other days, every day the manna fell fresh in the morning. I'm sorry, let me correct myself before you do. Every morning, the manna fell fresh in the morning. Correct? But some of these guys were hoarding up and they were saving the manna 2-3 days supply at one time. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Who were these guys who were hoarding up 2 or 3 days supplies at one time? Datan and Abiram. These guys don't get it. But don't worry, they'll get it once the ground opens up.
Oh yeah.
Alright? So Datan and Abiram were the ones who reported Moshe to Pharaoh. They were the ones who wanted to return to Mitzrayim in Shemot 14. They were the ones who hoarded up extra manna on a daily basis instead of going out in the morning and getting it fresh. They hoarded it up and it turned to worms. The sages tell us it was also Datan and Abiram. Not only that, but our sages have an interesting side note here. On Shabbat, Datan and Abiram would go out, spread manna on the ground early in the morning to make Moshe look like a liar. Are you getting this? Our sages tell us that on Shabbat, because you know on Shabbat Yahweh said that what you get on Friday will last for 2 days. You don't have to go out on Shabbat morning to gather manna, right? So these guys were such troublemakers that they not only try to keep manna for more than 1 day in their tents. When Shabbat came, they put manna out in front of the whole nation, trying to turn the whole nation against Moshe Rabbeinu. Are you getting this?
Yes.
These guys were bad news. They were nothing but bad news. In the camp, that's right. That's right. In the camp of Yahweh. So there was a major struggle, Darrell, between these leaders and Moshe Rabbeinu. What we read about in today's Parsha, in Bamidbar 16, didn't spring up out of a vacuum. It didn't pop out of nowhere. These guys were constantly vying with Moshe Rabbeinu for the leadership of the people of Israel. Do I need to go there? No, let's move forward. But it's common, what we've been through as a congregation. It's common sense. I told you. The book is not what caused this. When you squeeze the toothpaste, what's inside comes out. When you're under pressure in your life, when Yahweh allows pressure, trials, and tribulations to come into your life, then we find out what's in the toothpaste. Then we find out what's inside. It's enough said. So these two were vying with Moshe Rabbeinu. They were liars, they were complainers, they were backbiters, they were ungrateful. I mean, check this out. He saved the man's life. He ordained the man. He protected the man. He guarded the man. He gave the man a reputation. He gave the man honor. And how did he reward him? By never ceasing to nitpick. And it wasn't even, they were passing winds of doctrine.
Hey! Say it again.
They were passing winds of doctrine. They were not something you should make a deal over. All right, the rabbi's on a sex kick, let him go for a while. Or he's on a speaking in tongues kick, let him go. It'll pass over and we'll move on. I mean, what's the big deal?
Right?
Come on now. We don't stay on topic for 20 years. I'm not like Bob Corn in Jamaica, Queens, who was teaching the book of Isaiah for since Eisenhower was in office. He's still teaching the book of Isaiah. Rivka's going, yes, it's true. She'll tell you. She'll tell you. We got engaged. We were married. We were teaching. We left, and 5 years later, right? We heard a report. He was still teaching the book of Isaiah.
All righty then.
So there was a major struggle between Datan and Abiram. And now, as you can see, this ongoing struggle now invites Korah to join. Korah did not raise up the rebellion we read about in today's Parsha. He joined a group that was already malcontented and disengaged from the leadership. Does any of this make sense?
Amen.
So what happened in our congregation, Yahweh allowed to happen. He allowed to happen. No problem. No complaints. Not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I don't have any complaints. Now, we know that in the camp, as the camp would break and then the camp would encamp again, the tribe of Reuben was encamped next to the camp of the Kohathites, the sons of Levi. I'll say that again. The Reubenites and the Levites were next to each other in breaking and settling the camp. Korah was from the family of Kohath in the wilderness. According to the sages, the tribe of Reuben supplied most of Korah's followers. Datan and Aviram and On were from the tribe of Reuben. According to Exodus 6:21, Shemot 6:21, Korah was the firstborn of Ishar. Reuben was the firstborn of Yaakov. Reuben lost his birthright as a result of rebellion. When did he rebel? By defiling his father's bed. So the children of Reuben were always susceptible. They were always open to rebellion. Korah was a Levite from the tribe of Kohath. But most of his 250 followers were Reubenites who had a history of rebelling against Jacob, Israel, the father, the patriarchal father of the people of Israel. Can I hear a good amen? They were Reubenites. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? The Reubenites always had this rebellious tendency when it came to the things, against the things of Israel and the things of Yahweh. Now, you don't have to turn there, but I'll just read it to you. In Numbers 8:14, Yahweh says about the Leviim, he says the following about the Leviim. Who are the Leviim? The Levites. I said, who are the Leviim?
Levites.
I said, who are the Leviim?
Levites.
You shall separate the Levites from among the children of Israel. The Levites shall be mine. Numbers 8:16. They are wholly given to me from among the children of Israel. I have taken them for myself instead of all who open the womb, the firstborn of all the children. All the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine. Verse 17. Man and beast. Verse 18. Numbers 8:18. I have taken the Levites instead of the firstborn. Now look, who is the firstborn of Israel? Reuben. Who are the Levites? The sons of Kohath. Korah, a son of Kohath. So we see the Reubenites hooking up with the Kohathites because Reuben was still upset that the birthright had been taken away from him. And through Reuben, most of the rebellious troops had been supplied to Korah. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Because they were already upset that they had lost the birthright. So they were open and ready and pliable to join in the rebellion against Korah. Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, with Korah. Not against Korah. With Korah. Now Yahweh made, not Moshe, made the declarations about the Leviim, that they would replace the firstborn to be Kohanim. But even so, it seems that some have not agreed with those appointments. It seems that Korah was a wealthy man, much older than Moshe Rabbeinu, who had 250 Reubenites, mostly Reuben, who were men of renown. And Raina said this to me earlier. Men of renown. In other words, they were not people without reputation. They were leaders in their tribal families. They were well respected. And so it was easy to persuade others to join with Korah, since the spying incident, listen, had just taken place. And all the people over 20 had been told they would not see the promised land. So the rebellion was right. Why was it right? Because most of the people would not enter the promised land, so they had nothing to lose. They found an issue. And what was the issue? That Yahweh said to Moshe, you only need one strand of Techelet and Kohath, and the Reubenites, who had their birthright taken from them, who wanted their birthright back, figured what better way to rebel against Moshe's words, because after all, Moshe doesn't hear from Yahweh, and so they joined in Korah over a silly, secondary minor issue. A wind of doctrine, as Chris said to me over the phone. You follow me? That wasn't an important issue. But Korah found people that were disenchanted with Moshe's leadership, dating back to the days when Moshe saved the man's life, tried to save his marriage, save his life, laid down his life, and killed an Egyptian guilty of murder to protect a fellow Israelite. So much for the ministry being a glorious position. You want to go into ministry? Listen carefully. People will hate you. They will betray you. They will laugh at you. They will mimic you. They will ridicule you. They will use you. And when they finish using you, they will speak evil about you. And they will go to other congregations and other assemblies and haunt you with their tongue for the rest of their life. Welcome to the ministry. You better think very carefully before you answer Yahweh's calling. Very carefully. Trust me. Rebbetzin Rivka and I speak from experience, and we have so much love to show you that one day if we ever take off our